y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Creatively Speaking. I'm Kadeja, aka K-Lig, and these are my amazing co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
You know, the Howie Roseman of recording out here in these streets. You know, Cook, happy to be here as always. Going to throw the oop to my guy.
Listen, it's J-Law here again, Creatively Speaking. Let's get into it.
Yo, before we get into it, yo, I realize I do a lot of hand motions, man. Boy, do you start to critique the pod yet or not yet?
It's the excitement, though.
I'm happy to be here.
The thrill.
It's the excitement.
The thrill.
It's rushed. Yeah, for sure.
I be catching y'all's, like, when the side eyes in the conversation.
Yo, I was just start looking at the camera, like, on The Office, like...
Yeah, get a little spicy.
No,
I personally
for
love
real.
it. I personally
Hey,
love
I'm
it.
trying to take us to the next level. You know what I mean?
So let's catch up. What's been going on the past couple weeks?
Well, I mean, someone might want to go before me because I'm gonna just speak on what's happening in the world in that space. So you know, I'll let us get something off first.
I'll go first.
Yay.
Last week, it's really been about discipline. I know we talked about like our New Year's goals and things like that, but I found myself getting back into like old habits, and it's like being real self-conscious and being able to notice that. So just being able to stop it in its tracks. And my thing has been like really owning my time.
I was about to say, what is it? What are we talking
it's
about?
owning my time. So over the last week, I've been doing a lot of things. I just feel like as an entrepreneur, your time is so flexible, but you really got to be structured with it. So a lot of times, it's no shade to my friends or anything like that, but I've been doing a lot of helping my friends out. And I'm like, hold up. I ain't really been working these last 2 days. What am
Let me clock in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just really being real cognizant of that and telling people no. Like, I got to work. I don't have to, but in the reality of things, I have to make things keep moving forward and things like that. So just catching myself in the midst because it's not getting too over the top where it's like, all right, it's going a week, 2 weeks where I haven't done anything, and to really lock in. So
I feel like time is just going so fast. Like the last time I looked at the date, it said the 7th, and then I looked up and it said the 11th, and I'm like, what happened the past 3 days? And then it snowed, and then that time, you know, just being in the house is like a perpetual state of like Groundhog's Day. Like every day is the same thing, especially as an entrepreneur. Like you're doing the same repetitive things. Yeah, I feel you on that.
I mean, and shout out to you though, because you know you're catching that slide early.
Yeah.
Like I think that's really where the growth gets measured in your own walk. Like, because as creators, we can go like weeks of just what it is. Like,
that's me.
You know,
setting the goals are easy,
right?
But it's like when you're in the midst of it, you gotta stay disciplined. You gotta.
Hey man, you see the hoodie? Shout outs to Rude too. You know what I mean?
Dedicated.
You know all the things. Disciplined, determined, dedicated. All the things you gotta be when you on this creative path. But what's up with you, Lynn?
Oh, guess what, y'all?
What?
You supposed to guess?
All right, let's narrow it down before I guess it. This could go left real.
Anyway, I'm just gonna tell y'all, I won a sweepstakes.
Oh,
I won a sweepstakes. I won a 7-day cruise.
Wait, that's still a thing?
That's what I said, right? And that's exactly how I won. Because you niggas is sleeping on sweepstakes. The sweepstakes actually work, y'all.
Where did you?
I know,
break
right?
it down? Break it down.
So WHUT, which is I believe Howard's public radio station and TV station, a few weeks back, like right before Christmas, a bunch of people went on this media tour with Disney. And me being like my network and knowing who I know, I'm like, first of all, crying in the house that I'm not picked for this thing. Like, I want to go to Disney World. I want to go for free. And anyway, so then one of the Morgan Media, who also like shout outs to her, she reads the news for, is it Breakfast Club? Yes, she reads the news for the Breakfast Club. She does a lot of media engagement for iHeartRadio, and she posted right after she got back this sweepstakes with this organization.
Got you.
And I was locked in from day one, y'all. Every day.
So the plug came through.
Every day. The plug came through. But also dedication. What the word say? Dedicated, determined, and disciplined.
They're going to know that by the end of this pod.
Hey, Rude sold 4 hoodies just now.
I was dedicated, determined, and disciplined to win that motherfucker. Every day I like put my name in, y'all. And something about it, like, I know I manifest things in my life. I just knew. Some things you just know is yours.
So, question, was it on your mind the whole time, or did you really forget about it before you got to know?
It was quick. It was like within maybe like 3 weeks of every day you can enter. It was like
Oh,
a 3-week
okay,
span,
got you.
and then I believe like early January they picked.
Oh, so it was a
won.
quick. Okay, got
It was a quick turnaround. Yeah, shout out to that.
That's
So,
crazy. Congrats to you,
Thank
man.
you. Me and 3 guests are going to Disney.
Sound like a
They ain't going. They ain't going.
What
I don't
you
want to go
mean?
on no Disney cruise.
How you know what I want to do?
Yes,
Right.
That's crazy.
A lot of people are like, "How many? You got a +1, girl?"
You got a +3.
I got a
Exactly.
+3.
Come on, we can
What
do.
that
We can
roster
do a
looking like?
Yeah. So go ahead and put your name in the comments below if you want to go on a cruise with me.
rotation.
Exactly.
Hey, I'll see you from 2 to 4.
Hey,
Night, day 1 and 2.
that'll be crazy. That'll be crazy if I put the whole roster in one room
Hey,
on a
man.
Disney
Hey,
cruise.
Hey,
that,
man.
you want to talk about taking the content further?
Anyway, and on that note, what you been up to?
Oh man,
How you
man.
follow up with that one?
Right, like clearly
You want
Right,
to go last.
right.
not enough, right? Like, what have I been doing? Not enough. But nah, I think start of the year, I can say like there has been a certain I've had an energy or productivity in my own box. Like, you know, what I'm creating, I'm really excited about it and what that looks like. But oftentimes the world kind of, you know, comes into your box in terms of like what's going on and just your sense of awareness. And for me, man, I've been following the LA situation. I was thinking like, man, how can you help? Like, I'm all the way on the other side of the coast. You know, I know that there's the relief donations and things that you can do, and everyone sends prayers, and I'm always an advocate of that. But, you know, I also saw a lot of my creative friends from the DMV area that's moved out to LA, and it hits home. And, you know, you're seeing a lot of people being displaced and, you know, losing their homes. And honestly, I just kind of want to just take a time and just like kind of reflect and more so continue to pour into the community. For anybody out there that has community, please lean on them. You know, as someone across the globe, my line is always open for, you know, someone that needs the space to express what's going on or what that looks like. And, you know, I was just thinking about just that. And I want to shout out some dope people too. And
Please.
we could talk about some other things. But Ray from Baltimore, Ray and Knight, couple years back, randomly, Ray did a block party for the homeless in LA. And he's actually was scheduled to do it January 19th. So by the time this airs, this would just pass. But he was doing another one already planned. And then this is happening. So now there's like a heightened sense of, again, like if you have resources and supporting. And I just love how a creative of that caliber is using his platform. I mean, you think of, the homeless community just being groomed, cut, like serviced, and all those things. It's such an amazing just direction before this. So I want to shout that out. And then Afion Crockett, he's been doing a lot of, I've just been seeing him kind of in the spaces like, hey, this center is here and this is how it works. And he's physically in those locations. Mm-hmm. So I just want to, again, shout out those people. But my space has just been in the community and how important it is to have one, especially in these times.
For sure. How do y'all, I'm an empathic person. So it's been very difficult to kind of see the devastation and the sadness and understanding like the gravity of the situation that people are going through. I was curious, are y'all affected? Like, of course, everybody's sad, but like, does it block your creative flow when you feel things like this heavy in the world? Because I've been struggling.
For me, it's just like a moment of reflection where it's not a direct impact on me. Nobody that I know has lost their house or anything. My cousins actually live out in LA and they were home. I actually saw them last week. And they fly out actually tomorrow to go back home. So just seeing how it affects them affects me because I'm not directly impacted, but they have friends in LA. One of their friends, their family lost their home. Mm-hmm. So it's like hearing those stories. Everything is so close to you, even though I don't know that person personally. Somebody else's like grief or somebody else's, compassion really can impact you as well. Mm-hmm, so from the creativity standpoint, and all transparency, it really doesn't affect me, but it's just like me as a person.
Right.
And that side is like, life is things and material things can always be replaced and, those things, but people, those are the things that you really have to value in this world because
care about.
You're here once. You know what I mean? So and it's just that compassion from me.
Yeah, no, and I love, like, again, this is why, I think about it as like no voice, no platform is too small to talk about, what it is to just, again, be compassionate and support one another. I think it is a something that you also be cognizant of however someone processes grief is their version of it. You know, you can't project your expectation on what that process is. Like, oh, you know, you should get over it or you can get over this. You know, it's more of a, you know, hey, what do you need? And let that be. And so, again, it wasn't a direct impact to my creativity, like Law said, because, and again, you almost feel guilty. Like, I would say similar in the pandemic when I started to figure out things for myself, and you see what's happening to people, you feel this guilt of, I'm going forward. And, you know, some things have really stopped for people in a way that they had no control over.
Exactly. So how do you share that? Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's value what you are doing and continue to produce it, because again, someone has lost that opportunity. I think for me, it's taking ownership of the power I have and what I can do and fulfilling that, because at some point it should be able to help other creatives or impact others in a way that there is a better resource for them when times like this happen. So I got to keep running the race.
That's beautiful.
What about yourself? I want you to answer.
Yeah, when you said the pandemic, I definitely was like living in a parallel world of, it was of course devastation. Everybody was going through something, but I was living like the best life. Like the things that were happening to me was just so amazing, and it was hard for me to kind of still express that online, knowing like on the next post somebody maybe, you know, sharing death or just like really, really sad things. But yeah, it has affected me. And I think maybe because I'm coming from a place creatively where I have to like represent different voices and like different pockets for my clients. So my ear is always to the streets of like, okay, should we post today? What are people talking about? And so yeah,
I was about to say, also check on your social media friends for real. Like people who do have to navigate communicating because it's their livelihood, it's their job, in a season where they might not even want to talk.
Or I don't have anything to say.
Right, like
I don't have anything
nothing
to say.
to add to that. So like, you know, that is like something to be considerate of. And there was going to be one more thought that I had, but I lost it. And if it ever comes back, I'll bring it up. But you know,
also like just the honor, and I think as we pivot into our topic of conversation, I think honoring LA and California as the hub of creativity. Like it's the music hub, it's the TV shows. Like that's where our creative family kind of it's home base for a lot of people. So just sharing love and light to LA, and I know that things will be rebuilt and be better.
Say, you know, I do want to stress, because of when this comes out, oftentimes when these things happen, we pass over them quickly. So it might not even be in the current news cycle.
What do you mean? This won't be in the current news cycle?
Because how news cycles go.
I can agree with him in terms of things not being in the forefront.
I mean, just think about it. We are not talking about New Orleans, which just happened. We're not talking about New York, which just like there are things that keep knocking something down.
Facts, very true. But I think that this particular thing is the level of Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
But I personally think that
fair.
This is like
that's fair,
fucked up, like to that level. And New Orleans, so sad. That shit is sad as fuck. However, that's like 1B. And this is going to be, I think this is the impact. But I've also been like dialed in incredibly to what.
No, I'm really excited to talk about this topic. Okay, great. Because this is, so several weeks back, Doechii finally released a video of Denial is the River. Prior to it, we saw all the promotional ads, like it's a sitcom, it's a show, what is this? And this was a lot, right?
Yes.
She killed it with the Denial is the River video. You think that's a lot for a music video or what? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so that was my first thing about it, was the rollout. I was expecting it to be for something much more, maybe an album, maybe even an EP, but just for a music video, it's like, damn, I don't even know the last time I've seen that from memory. Like, can just think of somebody that did that just for a music video to come out. Question, was the song released before the music video?
Yeah, the song's been, so she's been, go ahead. She's been promoting the song for like just different performances. Okay. She did that on the Jimmy Kimmel one. She did that on Tiny Desk performance. So and then the
mixtape came out probably a year ago.
So even more like for something that's already out, it's like I'm just excited to see if that's for something that already exists. What's gonna be the energy when it's an album? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is it gonna be a whole movie? Get? Like, what we doing?
The bar is high.
You got to go next. So I'm gonna need a 5-minute ISO.
Oh Lord.
I know.
You and your notes.
Skip ahead.
So I loved it. I definitely think I appreciated the longish rollout, because people don't pay attention to music videos anymore. Like, I don't know the last time I like stopped everything, premiere video. Like, I can't wait for this to watch. And I think that's what you have to do in 2025 now is like force people and drive your own engagement and give them breadcrumbs because people's attention spans is like small squirrels. So, I really loved it. You can see like the breadth of the creative game that she has. Like, she has a lot of friends. Like the credits and the people and the cameos that came out to support her are crazy.
I mean, and I can just to give you guys a couple cameos that she had. She had Sir, Zach Fox, DJ Miss Milan, who her are like running a pick and roll crazy right now. Schoolboy Q even popped out. Earl Sweatshirt, like just
Earl
a few,
Sweatshirt,
like
Brad
again,
Pitt.
Brad Pitt. So, no, that's a fact. So a couple things, like I just want to appreciate the art that's happening in front of us right now and in real time. Because two things. One, again, the album came out a while ago. It was no real kind of lead single. Even when Denali and the River started to pick up, we were like, not sure that's the single, right? But to see how much the performance of that even expanded into the rest of the creativity that was produced. And, I think it shows how much, as musicians and artists, one thing could be multiple paralleled in multiple spaces. Like there is a treatment for an actual video that's different than a performance, or there's more to the art behind it besides what you're just now getting. Even setting up this thing, like again, the record came out January 6th, I want to say, or around that time. January 2nd. And they started promoting
2024?
No, the video came out.
The video,
25.
got it.
25. But they started promoting the video December 26th, like the day after Christmas. That's when they dropped that "Denial is a River" promo ad, and so like just the timing of that. I liked all the promotion around it, and even when the video came out, she did a live stream for that, and it's like
that was so chaotic.
The countdown days.
Did you watch it?
I saw clips and I jumped out.
It was so chaotic. I love it though.
Wow.
But but again, all of this behind one song on an EP mixtape that's out there. And it does her a great service of showing how much she's a multi-talented, multi-hyphenated creative. And then even just some of the collaboration and partnerships, like her doing the thing with Issa Rae, the Denial is a River Genius performance with Issa Rae. The fact that every promo ad leading into the Denial is a River was Issa Rae's movie coming out. Like there's so much cross-brand promotion. Every time you watched it, you saw that expansion. So everything was organic. I think, again, a single record with there's no hook is fire to pull that off as an artist, and something that's so creative where it also introduces this new audience to your journey. You're like, back at 20, like you're walking us through your story on your single, so I had to just clear out and give space. A couple other shout-outs I want to give for the video was, executive produced by Musa, head of TDE, as well as Top Dog, and it was the actual produced by Autumn Manchi and shot by Nico Aguilar. So, a couple of dope creatives that were part of that. So just wanted to give a quick ISO for that. But Doechii killing it. She killing it.
I love it.
Oh, I was going to say, that's something I really wanted to mention was the intentionality to list the credits at the end of the video. And I feel like we don't see that a lot in today's times. Even when you think about, remember like in the mixtape days when you would download something from that Piff or live mixtapes and it will always say produced by whoever. It will have the credits on the song. And now like you'll see a song come out by Travis Scott or somebody and it's just his name.
They don't even put the features until like later. What's up with that?
Honestly,
is that an Apple Music thing?
I'm over I'm over the artist. I guess it comes whenever the records were submitted to Apple when they can process it. That could be a factor in it. Okay. But I'm also just I don't care for the allure of that. Like, who is on it? Like,
I think a lot of artists do that because they don't want people to just jump to the features either. It's kind of like a surprise, like, oh, you didn't even know.
I mean, I think if you have a conceptual project that the goal is for people to flow through the story of the album, cool. But if you just have a project where it's just a project.
Are you talking about Drake?
I wasn't referring to anyone in particular. Okay. Look, like she like, nah, you're not in the water deep enough.
Drake?
Try to get me out of here, all parties.
Just saying.
But no, I think, when you look at just the talent that's taking place, I do like the TD execute. Not even TD. Let me take that away because it seems like Doechii, and it just seems like they're not standing in her way, and that's sometimes all you really need from a label.
Yep,
for sure.
Facts.
Just give me the resources.
Just give me the loop. All right, y'all. So it is January.
For sure.
And I don't know about y'all, but it seems like a lot of my friends are doing dry January. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of dry January? Would you ever participate?
I did it last year.
You did?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was cool.
Also, is it a part of like your sober journey, or is it just a health thing? Like, what was your reason? Because when I was doing research, it said that people did it for different reasons.
I think it was different reasons. I definitely found myself like last year was just a year of kind of seeking to evolve as a better person, trying to get closer to God, and like did the whole church actually I go to out here, Union, has like a Pray 21.
They do.
And so I did that last year, and this was kind of a part of that. And it's like, you know what, I can do this. And so it was just to kind of see what that version of myself looked like in that 30-day window. And I mean, I don't think he's any different than me. I'm probably not the best person to do a dry January because I also don't drink that much.
Yeah.
Like, so it'd be like dry is like, oh, the one day I'm gonna drink, I just won't. So I might not be the best, but I will say shout outs to the homie Steph. She did it last year as well. In the same timeline as me. And I say that I bring that up because we were both at Urban One Honors like day 2 of the new year, and it was free drinks everywhere. So me and her was just in there like, we can do this. And so accountability. Yeah. So shout out to Steph. I don't think she's doing a dry January this year. And that's just for living life,
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on it?
What I think it's cool. I don't personally think, and once again, like I think it's because I don't drink excessively that I feel like I have to cut back or do the dry January. But if I did, it probably would be like for spiritual or health reasons.
Do you think they'll? I mean, I just feel like everything's created, right? Like even dry January. Like you think they're gonna make like a weed off month?
Hell no.
No weed November. Like
I do think it gets to a point where it becomes more of a. I just think this is the country we live in. Everything is a selling point. So
trend.
As cannabis is becoming more mainstream. It's becoming more retail. I do think that is going to become a thing, just because you can have an alternative cannabis product and just something else to bring more money and more revenue to it. Everything is sell. So I definitely wouldn't count that out to be a thing.
I think last year I heard more people doing it than this year, and I really think like, hey, those who did it last year, if they started it, they might have continued the sobriety, and then like the group that tried it and it didn't work for them, like, man, I'm not doing it again. Like
I feel like J-Lo was saying, I feel like brands are trying to cash in on these trends, and they're for sure doing the dry January now. I feel like I've seen so many like mocktails or Zendaya's husband, fiance has a fake beer. I don't know what's the right word to say. Non-alcoholic beer.
Yep.
So I feel like that's going to be a trend that's going to continue to go like. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you can see it already because I think things that, like you say, you think more people did it last year, that builds the buzz, right? So things that already been happening, now the brands are going to catch on to try to capitalize off of it. So even when I was looking up, White Claw, they introduced their first non-alcoholic seltzer. Blue Moon introduced their first non-alcoholic seltzer, and they all did it this month. So if they're putting money behind the product, it's a telltale sign that it's happening, and people are finding value in it. And I think it really just starts from the youth, like millennials to younger. I think are the ones that are really capitalizing on it.
For sure. I'm like, is that just juice though? Like, I've never even had a mocktail. Wait, I've been on a date with a dude, and he ordered a mocktail.
What was your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Is that wrong?
It felt weird to me.
I get it. I get it.
Would you get him ordering a mocktail? You get me side-eyeing him.
I get you side-eyeing.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just get the tea, or I'm gonna get a lemonade. Why am I getting a mocktail?
Nah, a mocktail.
It's strange. It's strange.
Yeah, get you some regular juice.
But he ordered a mocktail, so shout out to him.
But that's on a date. If I'm comfortable, I'm with my girl, I'm gonna do a mocktail. Fuck it.
Right.
I'm gonna do a mocktail.
My time.
All these nice glasses. You think I'm not gonna spice it up?
I ain't doing that on a date.
Get you some Sunny D. But shout out to that young man for ordering that mocktail. Any other young man that wants a mocktail, you better order that.
He come from his skin. So.
Did you react though? Is a real question.
I had a list of things from that date.
Chat.
Like
she looked up. Excuse me.
I'm gonna order a mocktail. He was very proud of that thing too. Anyway, that's all my thoughts on Dry January. Anybody else has any thoughts on Dry January? Y'all?
I did saw the drop in the chat, and that was a reference. Was I guess the woman who FaceTimed all her family and friends to ask them if they would join her for a Dry January, and they're like, hell no,
Yeah,
get out of here. Like a couple of her like, I'm in Cabo tomorrow. Who are you asking? Are you kidding me?
You should have asked me this in November.
Right. Like,
have you seen the state of the world? Like, I need a shot, girl.
Nah, but
I need a shot.
I think it's funny. Like I said, to Law's point, is now getting to the content creator part of it, and next thing you know, the brands are doing it. The alcohol brands are like, yo, how do we raise sales in January?
Exactly.
We need that pivot. So hey, do what you got to do. You know.
I feel that.
I do think from a business standpoint, from brands, I do think it will be lucrative for them, just simply because it gives another reason for somebody that maybe doesn't drink at all. When they go out, they can be as social as other people. You don't gotta look crazy like, damn, I got the water.
You don't got me to do with the mocktail.
You got the same look.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, I do think it is going to be beneficial.
That's good.
And shout out to inclusivity and branding and alcohol included.
For sure.
Simone Biles hit the chat. Well, she actually did some interviews, and she said that, I quote, "I'm at a point in my career where I'm humble enough to know when I'm done." Thoughts?
Talk your shit.
Right? Go talk.
That's one of those things where if you're not being fulfilled, if you're not, enjoying what you do, but the caveat to it is you're still good at it.
Right.
And
I think that's the flex.
Yeah, that's the flex. You're still good at it. And it's like you're not being forced out, or it makes sense for you to leave something. It's something where you have to really look into yourself and say, I'm truly done because I just don't want it. Not because I can't do it anymore, or not because I'm not good at it, but I just truly don't have any desire to do it. And I don't know if I got the discipline or can get over my pride to do that.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, am I in tune with my star player enough to know that this is all right? Like, all right, let's just wrap it up here.
I think you gotta really check in with yourself and see what it requires for me to do this at the level I know I can do it in the way of something else I want.
Right.
And honestly, I mean, again, for me, I don't think there's anything that's going to be in the way of that. The way that I move, I'm working towards a life where that's not the limit. Like, but even, I'm not saying that she hasn't.
No, I had a thought in my head.
She might, be at a space where, again, there's other things she want to prioritize just on its own. But I also think that there's something to be said about going out while you still have skill versus the game taking you out. Yeah. Like, you don't want to be the wash person that's in the way of the shining star that's actually popping. Like, Jordan Childs, I want to say, is someone who's like
up and coming,
like up and coming, and like, again, especially after what just happened, this would be a perfect time to transition away for Simone to let space for the next person who she advocates for.
I think the gymnastics and the Olympics are kind of, I was going to compare it to LeBron James, and I was going to say, but it's kind of apples to oranges, because I feel like on the U.S. team and like gymnastics, you can get a lot of like solo and team accolades, and then I feel like LeBron is just kind of helping out his fellow man. But at the same time, I'm like, I would like to see y'all's thoughts on a person like LeBron continuing and going, and maybe he's taking up space with other athletes. Like you say, Jordan Childs could potentially, I don't know who's on the Lakers that could potentially use the shine.
Nobody.
Oh. And, like, when is it going to be time for him? Is he going to ride till the wheels fall off?
Go ahead.
I don't, not no fault to you. I just don't think that's a good example.
It's not?
Because of the state of the NBA. And I feel like those players, Steph, LeBron, KD, that are older, they're kind of really saving the NBA because the competition isn't what it was when they first entered the league. So I don't think it's stale to see them still play, because it's like it's still reminding us of the old days, because the product of the league just isn't good. So
we've definitely
if they're not in the league, it's like, damn, is people really watching as many games as if they were on? Like, it's still a draw to see him. And I still think he's going to give it up before he has to. Like, he's going to be on top of his game. But what he's producing and providing for the league, I think, is so valuable. It's like, I think you still need to be playing.
I think there was, I don't know why I was just stuttering into your talk. My fault to cut off. But I think that there's value in seeing things like as a business, like how you just mentioned it. Because, again, this particular case A, the product is being carried by these elements. Whereas in Simone's level, I don't think that she has to carry the product of what gymnastics is right now. Now, I think that she's on top. Now, granted, even when I think of the Olympics,
she's
I'm
the
like
highest paid.
Very much so. And so for that, you're the highest paid. What more is there for you in your mind? Like, she's number 25 on the most decorated Olympian. I don't say that as a knock. I'm saying for her, like, she might not care to go any higher than that. Like, if I checked all my boxes and I now have the life that I want, what's the point? Like, I'm not being challenged crazy. Everyone knows that I'm kind of me. And what's the point of sticking around to get knocked off?
And you're saying LeBron isn't doing the same because he has checks to cash?
I think that the league is reliant on his presence to cash the checks versus the league of gymnastics relying on Simone to stay relevant.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thought.
Yeah. That's a thought.
I do have a question for you, K-League.
Yay!
So I consider myself like a sniper on, social media. I really don't comment and interact as much as I should.
Okay.
But I did see you on Threads.
What did I say on Threads?
And you were talking about klig.co.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So it's interesting because as I was reading the thread, I think you mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong because I could be totally wrong in saying this, but you were talking about it being an era. And in terms of what you were doing, being in TJ Maxx,
a little parallel going.
Shout out
to you. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, land the
plane. Where you're going. I see where you're going.
Being in TJ Maxx, and what are the other two? Home Goods?
Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls.
Come on, man. Talk heavy. But I saw a lot of people in the comments asking for advice and things like that, but you were saying it like it was an era, and I know klig.co is still a thing. You sell on Etsy, but I feel like you chose to step away from what you were doing those couple years ago, and I want to know your mindset in terms of, I don't think you did it because it was outdated or you couldn't do it anymore. I thought it was
an intentional pivot.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was an intentional pivot because of my environment.
Okay.
So when I moved, Richmond, I feel like is much more of a fertile ground for small business owners. And people were supporting, and also you got to think I was doing this during the pandemic, so everybody loved Black businesses during the pandemic. And small women-owned artists were a thing, so it was a lot of attention.
You were in Richmond when?
Oh, okay. I was in Richmond when I first started my business, and then when I moved to the DMV, with all intentions of continuing to do the work and doing art and things like that, I quickly realized like the DMV area is extremely transactional.
Got you.
In service.
Yeah.
Not necessarily product.
Okay.
So I tried to do a few markets and vending opportunities, and I quickly realized, like, number one, I was going to be, what's the word? The price margin wasn't the same.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm selling stickers, bookmarks, stationery, cute shit, and people were selling things that were it made sense to spend $150 to get a vending table.
Right.
It wasn't a smart business play. And then I started realizing, like, the area that I'm in, I need to figure out a skill to get these people to fuck with me.
Okay, gotcha.
So I realized quickly, like, okay, let me build my skill set more so than let me continue to pour into my stationary business. But at the same time, yes, I do respect that it was an era, because even as an artist, I don't feel inspired by that anymore. So being able to not feel guilty was what I also was talking about on Threads. Like, okay, being able to pivot and also honoring that space that I was in. But yeah,
and that's why I thought it was kind of commendable, because it reminded me of Simone Biles. It's like, not saying you went until.
Hold on. That me reminding him of Simone Biles.
Like, that popped in my mind when that was a topic, because it's not like you went until the wheels. It was an intentional, like, oh, maybe I need to change something. But you still were on top of your game. And I'm like, damn, that takes a lot for, especially a creative, in my opinion. And that was art shit too. So I'm like, that's even more. And I'm like,
I think it was like the foresight and understanding, like, okay, we could continue to do this and beat the horse, or we can, add more tools while you still have this. So
I love it.
It was never going to be that one thing anyway. And I still don't think I'm done. I think one day I'm going to pivot from social media management to doing something else. So yeah.
Hey, y'all smoked that. I clip that.
Genuine question.
Clip that.
I wanted to know.
That. I was like, oh, nah, they potted. Hey, ISO, let them two run the pick and roll.
We did good.
Nah, that's tough. All right, shoot. I mean, you want to transition to the next one?
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Because this is, I guess I dropped this in the chat.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going on.
I mean, speaking of, sports. Right, we're still in the sports world. Not the NBA, which we think is product's failing, but the NFL, which I think is kind of killing it right now. Verizon announced that they are doing a Super Bowl FanFest. And what that entails is pretty much all 30 other stations. I want to say 30 other stadiums, and I have photo references of these stadiums. Hold on, let me drop this in here, and we can insert graphic on the screen for those that are watching at home. But, I mean, like some of the stadiums, again, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, here in the DMV. I had to shout out my Eagles team first. Like, I mean, I understand where our market is, but – DC, of course, at Northwest Stadium where the Commanders play, they're hosting it, and there's several stadiums all across the nation. And I mean, essentially, it's like a community event day to watch the Super Bowl, where they're going to host chances for. It's going to be limited to Verizon customers, where you get access to the field. I like that. You get to meet and greet with some of the players. I know for the Birds, they got Darren Sproles and the cheerleaders and all that. So like again, they're activating these stadiums. To host pretty much a big fan day for the communities across the nation during the Super Bowl. So I want to talk about it. Like, what did y'all see? Like, what's y'all perspective of this? And let's get to it.
Is this the first time that they're doing it?
This is the first. Yeah.
Why has it been the first? Like, I mean, do people still do like tailgating during the Super Bowl or anything? Or these stadiums are like complete ghost town during the Super Bowl?
So that's the thing. I think it's a big chance. I don't know if it's going to be successful. And the reason why I say that is because by the time you get to the Super Bowl, it's 2 teams left. So if your team lost in devastating fashion in the playoffs.
I'm not trying to see that stadium. I see them niggas.
If your team sucks, I'm not even – it's basketball season now. You know what I mean? So I think, like you said, why haven't they done this in the past? I don't know if it's really going to be a success from getting them participation across 30 teams, 30 stadiums, just simply because the state of sports, I think, is emotion. So when you get to that point where, of course, it's the love of the game for football, but everybody that watches the Super Bowl, I can probably guarantee that the majority of people aren't watching it for the teams. They're watching it for the commercials,
for the vibes,
the entertainment, the vibes, and honestly become something to do, a Super Bowl party.
That's what I was about to say. What you're competing with Super Bowl parties at that point. It's like, would I want to go sit at the cold ass stadium, or could I be at my homie house eating Rotel dip?
Well, it's leading up to it. It's not actually.
No, it's on the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's
that's even worse.
These
yeah.
drops.
It's cold as shit.
So that's why.
Let me confirm.
Yeah,
yeah, it says doors open Sunday, February 9th. At 4 p.m.
Got you.
So it may be a pre. I can't see it being pre. Like if you come out,
it's probably going to show the show. Yeah,
it's Super Bowl. So I don't know. I just don't think. I think you're riding on the emotions of people to see if it's going to be a success. But it's still something for people to do. So people
love something to do.
Exactly. Something to do.
So this is my thought with it too, because I thought the exact same thing. Oh, and I'm sorry, Baltimore, they do have one for you, because I was gonna say they probably didn't do Baltimore because they ain't coming out if they don't make it. Like, I mean, but I can also think for the team who is in the Super Bowl, you might not have money to travel. Yeah, you could actually pop out to this at your stadium.
No, if your team makes it, you're going to this. I think you're definitely going to this. I just think
but can we also not brush over the fact that you're a Verizon customer? Yes. So that's even like a smaller pool. Not small, because I mean they have, what's their advertising? They have a lot of people on there, but I'm saying Verizon, see, exactly. I'm T-Mobile.
But I wonder if like you can bring a +1, or if you. This really, I think, will work for Verizon if it's really exclusive, because it makes it seem like I really have access. And I definitely think that can be a great pitch for the company, just saying you really have to have Verizon to have access to do this. It makes you proud to be a customer.
I wish they had performances.
Oh, that
but they have local.
So they're gonna have local entertainment artists. So this is my thought. Like I think that you can make it work, especially if you lean in the community. Like if the Ravens could connect with Black Ass Flea Market to help bring vendors in, to help bring if you actually tap in with the community to do this, then it becomes, I'm about to support my friend doing an event at M&T Stadium. And now that's a draw, right? Yeah. And that's how you can maybe, like, you activate the markets off of the synergy of the community that they're using within the community versus the actual, like, all right, hey, you might not be happy to be here. But, again, we're talking free. ideally free food, and I do want to kind of
hold on.
I do want to enter. I do want to confirm that you have to be a Verizon person because it does say launch enter sweepstakes. Like I'm trying that now.
I'm trying to see what type of food they
got. But again, just talk about free food, free drinks, vendors, businesses there. Like it's helping for those who might not be able to afford to do a tailgate party, or you might not have plans, or you might not want to make plans, or this can be the plan.
Right.
You know, because you said it early enough where people can now think about that because you don't even know if your team's in the Super Bowl yet or not.
Yeah.
So you can enter the sweepstakes now. You know,
shout out to sweepstakes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what you talking down on?
Energy.
I like a sweepstakes. Let me tell you something.
Let's loop the whole conversation
Right.
You know what I mean? This episode called Sweepstakes.
Hey.
But I think that if you look at that, you know, again, the idea, and also you have a chance to enter the win to get Super Bowl tickets to 2026 in San Francisco.
Gotcha.
So it's a good draw to enter sweepstakes. I'm about to apply right now.
Okay.
I'm
about to say, you going or no?
I mean, I'm gonna try this, but if you think about it, brands and businesses are always trying to own their data and audience, right? And I think this is a good draw that even if people decide to go or not, I'm gonna submit to try it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna see what it's hitting for. And
so
now
what you
they have my
submitting
data
for? I'm sorry.
To enter the sweepstakes or to be in the actual like the sweepstakes for
to
San Francisco. And
you can't just
just
go?
pop up.
Yeah.
You can't just pop up. You have to register, and it's like you have like limited space.
It makes sense though, because everybody can't go. So.
Circle got smaller.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think it's a really good draw, because then you're also getting regional information too, because it's like, oh, I need to go to this one, I need to go to this one, and now you have all this data on customers. That data is going to be important, especially as we continue to expand in this tech world. So
I am for brands providing exclusive events or like whatever, because T-Mobile has T-Mobile Tuesdays, and then this other card I have built, they have exclusive comedy shows, like exclusive restaurants you can go to. So I do like the brands catering to their customers and giving us exclusivities. But yeah.
And for Verizon personally, I am a customer. Their promos suck. So
Yikes.
If this is a way to get a better draw for your customer base and things like that, I do like it because their normal ones aren't good. They just aren't.
Nah, for sure. But I mean, but you gotta think, Verizon also, like, I be looking at brands so interesting because to your point, like, man, this is the customer experience.
Right.
But y'all spent the bag for a Beyonce commercial last year.
Exactly.
Now I wonder if you think about, that's funny. The budget to hire Beyonce for a commercial is the budget to set up all these activations. Just so you know what she's worth.
Exactly.
She is. You talk about she's not a stadium artist. She
bag,
forced 30 stadiums.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nah, that's tough. But so I wanted to talk about that. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No, that was a good one for sure. Oh, I do have one question about that. How do you think? What do you think is like a major KPI that the brands think about when they do an activation like this? Is it based on location? Do you think it's?
It's definitely that one, the click through to actual registration and confirming customer.
Gotcha.
Because like again, someone might be on the fence and like.
Yep.
Yo, you know what? I can't get Verizon. Oh, this is what the deal is. This is what I can have a chance to win. Like, it is an actual customer draw, because you're noticing more and more brands, old legal plays, like they didn't have people being an audience the way we do now. So more data.
Yeah.
More data, more confirming like location maybe is
that and also like target demographic, like, and seeing like, hey, who comes out? Even like, you know, who does register for this versus who actually shows their event. Like, you can actually see what customers come all the way through to your actual event.
I think also it's a draw because I think like I said, T-Mobile, like what would stop you from going to T-Mobile? It's like, oh, well, Verizon had this thing I went to last year. It's like a touch point too, I think. So
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I like it.
Do we have anything to rate this week?
I guess we could have rated Doechii's, but I mean, I already kind of spoke on how I felt on that.
But we never did give a rate for it. I would love to do that. Let's do
it.
Yeah.
So, taking it to the top.
Taking it back to the top, we're going to rate Doechii's rollout of Denial is a River. I personally love it. So I'm going to wait until the last minute to give mine. Because I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. Let me surprise y'all.
All right. Because, I mean, yeah, I'm a 10 as a creative. I think it comes under a personal, like, you know, direction for me. Like, seeing a music artist independently rise to this and produce this much off of a record, y'all, I'm excited. I think it all connected well, and I give it a 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I might do a 10 too. And I think y'all, I know.
Clutch my pearls.
Y'all really kind of opened my eyes to Doechii because she wasn't on my radar at all. So to see this, I just think it's very, how can I say this? Bold but refreshing at the same time to do this on a song that's already out. I can't stress that enough. Like, this isn't new. Like, you're repurposing content, repurposing assets to create new content, and to a rollout, like you said, the execution, doing it a week before it released, having actual visual snippets, and then having the actual video, listening to the song to see that, like, it's a kind of breakdown of her career. I think, honestly, this is kind of, I feel like this could be like an intro. Like, okay, you learned about her, and now it's really about to take off now. So,
yeah, there was one thing I did want to also stress on this too. Some of them camera shots, like we didn't even shout out the sitcom, the sitcom of the video, and we did that part of this service early because it started with like the Family Matters theme, the script and everything, font for it, but then it gets to that one part where she does like the breaking of the fourth wall shot, and then it shoots to this. Man, they were in their bag for that one.
They were.
But what you got? I had to spot that.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
What took it, or what made it an 8 for you, or what's missing?
8 isn't bad, but
yeah.
Why is it not over the top?
I still think that it could have been more. I feel like it kind of took me there. And then, like, it was like a little baby hill, you know? It wasn't like the big thrill that I thought. I guess, also expectations is a thief of joy. So I really thought that this was going to be like a variety show. We were going to get like a series of her doing, and she did drop a series, like a couple snippets. But yeah, I think it could have been more.
Do you think it's the, like, I like how Cook said earlier, sometimes it's just the label that gets out the way and lets you do your work and that empowers you. But do you think the label is stifling her in terms of moving too slow?
I mean, I definitely think that they gave her a bigger budget after they seen the reception and the Grammy nominations and things. They were like, oh shit, because she pushed this out as a mixtape because she was given too much critique and too much pressure on it being an album. So she said, okay, well, I need to put something out, so I'm just going to put out this mixtape.
Gotcha.
And then Top Dog was surprised that the numbers moved and that the people moved behind it, and then they kind of gave her the funding to do XYZ. Right. So yeah, I'm excited to see what else Doechii has coming, and I think that creatively, I'm sure she probably has more in the tank. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
Nice.
All right, look at that. Well,
thank you so much.
With that, I mean, I think all we got left is some resources to give the good people, right? Because I know we've been running just freestyling, just vibes. So I can jump off with mine for resources. So for today, I want to say for my resource, I want to shout out United Masters as an actual resource. United Masters is really for the artists coming up, music artists that are coming up. It helps you to own your music, as well as to get distribution in the process. They have 3 tiers, whether it's a debut, select, or partner, that starts at like $20 a year. So that amount to have full distribution, I look at it kind of how we do Red Studio for the podcast, like just a simple platform that helps put your music out is important. And you can remain independent while building your brand. One of the stifling things in my journey when I was navigating music was not knowing what I needed next. Like, I was paying for managers and publicists before realizing the product needed to be better. And so I think this helps you navigate that in the right way. And they have some good acts in their wheelhouse, from Brent Faiyaz, Anicia, Trevor Jackson, Shabuzi. So they are aligned with talented acts that have gone far. So shout out to Night Masters as my resource for today.
Woo! And shout out to Shabuzi. I'm interested to see what he does at the Grammys because he's been on a run.
No,
for sure.
Yeah. So my resource is Notion. I think a lot of people use Notion or have heard of Notion. It's a workspace, all-in-one workspace. I personally am the type of creative where I can't have things in a lot of different places. So coming to Notion was I was a little apprehensive about Notion just because it's like another website where you can have another slew of things over here. But I think the hot take or the key point with Notion is getting a template. I ended up buying a template from another social media manager that already kind of chopped it up, had a lot of different working pages and all that. So it was a template more so than a complete blank canvas. So I urge any creatives out there that are looking for some type of way to organize, try Notion, but also try a template. And I know you could probably find a lot on Pinterest for free, but I chose to go ahead and support a creative. So yeah, Notion.
I like that.
Thanks.
I'm probably gonna take that resource.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna need to use that for sure. My resource is Read AI. Just a little background story. Last week I had a business strategy session that a client booked, a 66-year-old artist.
Hey.
So it's cool because in the past, I would part of my package is you get the replay of the session that we have, and you have notes of what we went through, like a recap summary. And I would spend probably about 2.5 to 3 hours going through the session, doing the notes and tailoring it for the client. But I'm like, it's a new year.
Gotta be a better way.
It's gotta be a better way. So I actually learned about Read AI probably last year, but I never used it for myself. And man, I tell you, after I finished the session, had Read AI in there taking the notes. It was just crazy because it's not a person, it's AI. So they send the summary, and the way they break it down, it's like somebody was there really taking the notes. They tailor it, they tell you who's talking, they personalize it, and to go with the replay for the person, it took 15 minutes for me to package it all up, send it to them, and out the door they are. I recommend it. They do have a free version, but if you really want to get everything out of it, there's a paid version that's $17 a month that I pay for. It also puts pressure on me because it's like, if I'm paying for this for my coaching sessions that I do, I need to book clients. So it's like a motivation factor to put into the price. I added on to it, so it's kind of like it's not coming out my budget. So Read AI, that's mine.
I love Read AI. Yeah. I use it all the time. Like it is a little creepy because it follows you in some meetings, but it definitely is the GOAT as far as helping you remember things. It's easy to find all of your notes, and then it even has action items. Because for me, sometimes I'm in meetings with different clients, and I'm like, "What the fuck was I supposed to do?"
No, for real.
Yeah, and it has like, "Oh yeah, you said you were gonna do this, this, and this." Follow up notes. So yeah, I love Read AI. Were you gonna say something?
I need to add that.
Yeah.
But no, I also I like that we are also being honest and providing resources that you might have to come out of pocket for, like it costs to play the game sometimes. So if you go and do it, just know what you're spending your money on.
Ain't nothing in life free, so
especially with this artificial intelligence
for sure.
Well, as we wrap up the show, Cook, where can they find us?
You can find us on all platforms at CTLN_network, or just type in CTLN network, and continue to support us as we keep channeling creativity. Group chat.
Bye, friends. Catch y'all next time.